Welcome back here to the DreamHack Pro Circuit, coming to you live from DreamHack Dallas. I'm your host throughout all of the weekend, Wade Dreadnought Penfold, and up here at the desk, a bit of a mix-up here, a shake-up, if you will, in the fact that we got ourselves a Gibbs, but it's not a turtle. He's transformed. It is a Corelli. Corelli, how you doing, man?
Good, good. You know, not as skilled as Turtle, maybe not as smart, but I can talk, so that's good.
You beat him in the looks category. At least you got that going for you. You know, like, yeah, the guy's
I can take one.
He's off the mic now, so I can just say whatever I want. He's never going to be able to get me back for that one there.
He's not watching.
Nah. But Space Station Gaming and TSM walking away with that victory there. You know, any thoughts coming out from you, Corelli? Didn't get to hear your perspective over that.
Yeah, uncharacteristic from Space Station, I thought. It felt like a lot of, Jory mentioned it a couple times, poor touches on the clears coming out, and TSM just ate that up. They're such a fast team and a quality team that can find touches back to the middle of the field and put that pressure on immediately. This is what something that Space Station needs to look at to change going forward.
And now that's great for TSM. They get out of day one. It was 2 Leipzigs in a row at DreamHack where they leave on day number 1. So that's good for them to go into day number 2 looking really good.
Yeah, be able to sit back and watch all the action, because at DreamHack, there is a ton of action. Actually, so much action that it's not even all just on this stream. We actually have a B stream as well there at DreamHack Rocket League 2. You can tune in to catch some of the other games. And, you know, I heard there was a lot of things going on that B stream.
You know, just a minor upset. Mouse Sports taking down Vitality, the number 1 seed. So Mouse Sports coming out hot. And that's with Speed playing for Alex. So Mouse Sports, out of nowhere, taking down what many consider the best team in the world.
And I was actually watching them back there while the TSM Space Station game was going, and they looked good. So look out for Mouse going forward.
But that's huge because everyone's expecting Vitality versus Energy at the end. We might have to see it earlier, or maybe Vitality just goes home on day number 1.
Yeah, and we started today talking about Vitality as kind of being that new beast brewing, especially when looking at the European region post-Dignitas era, and the fact that they, have a couple of moments of struggle. You got to start wondering, how much does this roster has? Is this truly that, kind of starting of a new chapter?
So let's not worry too much, though, I think, about Vitality. We saw that with, I believe it was Savage, who is now Barcelona.
Yes.
On day number 1, they got swept by Rogue, and then what happened to them? They made it all the way to the semifinals. So it's not over for Vitality. They still have a chance to battle back. And, of course, every single day, clean slate, right? So as long as you make day number 2, you're back to a clean slate.
Yeah, on the flip side, though, it puts a lot more pressure on a team. Even though with the experience and the success that Vitality has had, it's scary to drop your first series. And it's big for any team, really, not just Vitality, to go down and drop a series here in day number 1.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be something that is a little bit more concerning. But, talking and keeping our eyes on teams with a lot on their plate, or maybe a lot to be able to play up to, we're going to change our scope here to our series at hand, and that is between Renegades and, I'm kind of alluding to more so on the side of Team Dignitas. What are your guys' thoughts here, knowing that we're going to have them go head-to-head?
There's something to prove for both of these teams, right? Like, we see Renegades now. There's no Drippe. He was the best World Championship player that entire region had. Top 6 in Season 4, 5 and 6 in goals per game. Only other player to do that is Gimmick out of all the players. So he's a clutch LAN player. They don't have Drip anymore. They bring in Zen. He's been to 1 LAN so far, but that was WSOE. They go 0-4. The first time they have not won a series at LAN. So we got to see what Zen has in him when now there's a crowd playing in front of him.
Yeah, and, Renegades does have a lot to prove. They do well in their league play every season, but now they come on the international stage. They want to win and get wins against North America and Europe. And speaking of Europe, Dignitas, the other side, they're a team who had a poor season, one that they didn't expect to have coming in with the new roster change. And so far, we haven't seen too much from them here at Dallas, but going up against Renegades is not an easy matchup.
No, not at all.
Again, this is a team that wants to prove themselves on the international stage.
Yeah, and even though, we've talked about Dignitas not having the same results, especially when looking at the last Pro Circuit era we had with Leipzig, they did come out and win in that moment. And that was like, I can't help but feel like everybody was like, oh, K-Dop gone, now how's this going to look? And they're like, no, that's it, that's still Dig. And it's clearly not going to be the case. And so going against Renegades, I feel like there's a lot of pressure there. Your first one on the big stream, and it's a roster that might be able to threaten you, but you aren't confident you're going to walk away from a win. And I feel like that's got to be something on the minds here of Dig.
So the one positive for Dignitas is they started out terrible throughout the RLCS season, but by the end, they were competitive. They finished in 5th, 1 game out of the World Championship, and teams were still fearing them. Like, even Garrett was like, I think Dig is going to make the World Championship. So they are finding that form slowly, and the problem is they kind of ran into a hot PSG at the time. So like everyone is still afraid of them when it comes to a live setting, right? Dignitas know how to win.
They've already won. They've won already once before on a LAN setting this year. And taking a look at Renegades, they're getting all set up and ready to go. Again, a team that wants to prove themselves with the new roster on the international stage.
It's going to be a very important series for them because, again, like they're going to the World Championship. They're playing a team that's not even at the World Championship. And every single season, it doesn't matter. They finished top 4 last season. They lose Drip A. Now everyone's like, you have to prove it to us once again. So they want to prove it here. So then when we go to the World Championship, they are confident and they want to take down their group.
In a post-Drip A, OCE, kind of Renegades roster, who is the one who is going to step up here? Who do we rely on?
You have to go Torsas, right? When he first got into the scene, like at the World Championships, a lot of nerves were playing factors on Torsas. So we saw Drip A have to carry that team. But now that we've seen him be at so many of these events, like in E-League, at WSB, all that, like he is ready to perform, and we expect him to perform.
And you can see Yukio on your screen on the Dignitas side, the new pickup for them. And again, still a lot to prove. They come out and they win a LAN in the beginning of the season, and then they go into RLCS and they have an okay season sitting at 3-4. Violent Panda was a player who has always performed well on an international stage and of course in a LAN setting. So it's yet to be seen what Dignitas can do after their first win here.
And we see the 3-time Turbo Pulse, so he was considered one of the best in the world to ever play this game. But last season, a lot of defensive mistakes. It wasn't only Yukio. That wasn't the issue. It was all 3 players just not performing up to their standards.
Yeah.
And they can right that ship now. Like, once again, like the same for TSM, where Dallas was so important here. And Valencia. This is where Dignitas wants to show that they're one of the best in the world again.
And I think that was one of the most interesting things for me, post DreamHack Leipzig. They walk away with the championship with the new roster. Everybody's impressed, and it's like, okay, same old form. But then when we see, maybe the bricks kind of falling off the building here over the season, you realize this isn't just Yukio who's struggling here. Turbo and Panda both having moments of uncharacteristic errors there. And so I really want to know maybe this is the moment this team kind of comes to life with LAN. And, is Dallas going to be the place that we see the spark to that fire that they need?
Like, it's so hard because, like, Dignitas, no matter what they did this season, you can't live up to 2018 Dignitas, right? Like, no one can. So, sure, they don't make World Championship. That is extremely disappointing, but like, if they win this again, who knows? It's very possible. They are still a threat, and everyone knows it.
It's kind of funny because both these teams have something to prove here, right?
Yeah.
Renegades on the Oceania side, it's like, okay, this is a team that's come in and historically actually done pretty well at the World Championship as of late. But, outside of that, the international stage hasn't been that great for them. This is a chance for them to prove against a quality European team in Dignitas to come out and take a win here in Dallas. Also, for Dignitas, though, a poor season leading into this, now proving we can still be that team that we saw last year and even coming into this year. But we've yet to see it here in the RLCS League play. Now coming into Dallas, this is the time to prove it.
Yeah, and I feel like when I look at this roster, the one player that I feel like has the most on a performance level, though we can admit maybe bits and pieces through all the members, it still sits on the side of Yukio. And I mean that for more than just being the newest member of the roster. I personally am of the belief, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong here, he's one of the few keyboard and mouse players. That gives him already almost like a separation in the fact that he is easy to frown upon and the fact that his medium is different than everyone else's.
And also with Torsas, too. He's playing on mouse keyboard as well. So both of these guys, it'll be fun to see them battle it out. But Yukio, there was a lot of pressure this season. You have to fill the shoes of K-Dop. No one can fill the shoes of K-Dop.
You're right.
So, I mean, there was a lot of pressure on him, and I think he did the best in that situation. Obviously, you want them at Worlds, though, but once again, man, just write everything here. Have a good day 3 performance in Dallas, and then people are like, oh, all right. We see Dignitas, and they are back. Sure, they won't be at Worlds, but they just want to be like, hey, we'll win every DreamHack this season. We don't care.
And they could. I mean, but those concerns that what we saw in the league play as of late, you come into an international stage like this in a LAN before the World Championships, and people go, I don't really know what Dignitas is anymore. You can look back earlier in the year and say, yeah, that win was great, but what can you do now? And what we've seen from them hasn't really been that spectacular.
Yeah, and guys, now it is time for the words of Leaf here, the most important part of the show. And that is going to be your guys' prediction coming down for this matchup between Renegades and Dignitas.
So there's 2 constants in the world, right? I always pick against the Renegades, and I always pick for Dignitas. They are in completely 2 different scenarios now. I'm still going to go Dignitas. I just feel like that LAN experience really will pay off here. And with the Renegades, I haven't seen them yet without Drip A perform in a live environment. So I need to see that before I pick them. I'm going Dignitas.
I absolutely completely disagree. I think it's going to be Renegades. I like the way this team has played. I think Zen has actually done just fine. Torsas being the amazing player that we saw throughout season after season. And again, Dignitas did not have a good season here. I think Renegades can come up and smack them in the mouth real quick. So I'm going Renegades.
Yeah, I think it's fair. With Dignitas, it's not like we're in day 3. Everybody's gotten in their groove and the comfort too. And I feel like that does give Renegades a possibility. But I still sit on the other side here. I'm on the side of Dignitas. Look, I know I'm bringing down the boat. Okay, you always vote. I match you, and then I just ruin everything. It ruined Christmas. But the real reason here is I share the same fate. It's guilty until proven innocent, almost circumstances that I need the proof out of OCE. And post Drip A, I haven't gotten that quite yet, so I'm still sitting with Dig, even though it is a struggling battle there. But look at the people at home battling just as back and forth as we are here. Only 4% between the two.
And I think that goes to show that people have concerns about Dignitas, because if we did this vote last year, it'd be like 85% Dignitas.
Yep.
You know, it would just be like the 1,200 people in Australia voting for Renegades. So for the vote to be that close does go to show how good Renegades has become, even without Drip A, and the concerns people have about Dignitas.
Well, we have spoken here on this match, but we aren't the only ones to be speaking about it, because we got ourselves a new casting group. Look at it. Wait, you were just over here, Turtle. Why are you over there?
We gotta have a talk, man.
Yeah, I kicked him out.
Wait, we had one series together, 2 series together, and this fast you're just becoming a trade?
So I leave, and then you roast me instantly after. That's
You
the
have
kind of
to come
relationship we have.
to a place that would respect you, and you've found it. So
You know,
it's
that's
good.
messed up,
Thank you
man.
for joining me, Turtle.
That's messed
I
up.
appreciate it. But we are indeed going to get right into this one, Dignitas versus Renegades. And they talked a little bit about
Right.
it, why that people might favor Dignitas. But again, the last time they played each other was at WSOE, Turtle.
And honestly, they did lose. Renegades lost that match, but they have had so much practice over the past season. They came first in their league, and they're here to regain confidence and also prove that Zen, the new player, can make a great addition to their roster.
Yeah, and I think Zen, Curly made a great point about that. Zen, definitely a guy that I think has definitely impressed. He's a very strong mechanical player over on that Renegades team, and I look for him to be a good force. But of course, Kami before them was that next pickup. He was a big choice to be chosen for that Renegades roster as well. They wanted him for that extra impact in the international scene. But it was a pretty close series last time they played. It was a 3-1 result for Dignitas back at WSOE, but the games were much closer than you might have expected. And so I definitely think there's certainly a case to be made for choosing Renegades here.
And now the mechanical gods, Yukio and I think Torsos, the mechanical player, are going to be facing off against each other. I'm excited to see who will take this.
This is definitely going to be an interesting one because, again, you really get to see a lot of those questions answered. Like you said, the experience has come through, and now that the Renegades have got a lot more under their belt together, we'll see if they can get some vengeance here at Dignitas, or maybe if the live environment picks things up, we see the Dignitas of old. And so it will start off with a nice clear from Yukio. Turbo Pulsa trying to get that back pass to Violent Panda. Backboard, second touch. Not going to be able to get there. Zen to deny. But early on, Dignitas setting up some pressure in the midfield. Solid clear from Renegades. Denied by Turbo Pulsa on the side wall. Violent Panda with a little bit of extra space to work with out of the corner. Nobody challenging off the midfield line, though, and Zen, free ball for Turbo, and they'll try and take one out on a dribble.
And I'm just curious to see what kind of Dignitas we're going to see at this DreamHack. I mean, it's been mentioned so many times that they won the last DreamHack. They were on fire, honestly.
Yes.
And they're coming out here, and I'm curious, you know, they've been exponentially increasing their skill and their team play over the season.
Backboard touch, cleared away, and a solid touch from Kami out into safety, but Yukio to keep the pressure up. Turbo Pulsa waiting patiently on his own half for this clear from Torsas. Gonna have to wait a second time, though. Not going across the field, wants to stick with it, get some help from Yukio. As Violent Panda there, it comes straight down into the middle. It will be cleared away, so Renegades hanging on fairly well, but struggling to really get the offense going. Shot towards the back wall, denied by Zen. Soft bounce into the corner, free ball, and that will be Yukio. It will just sneak in under the crossbar. Didn't toss. They finally broke him down, and it took them a solid 2 minutes or so, but they finally get it done.
Literally, the ball was almost in that side of the field the entire time. Just a great placement from Yukio, and the pressure finally makes Renegades collapse as we get into this game.
So the big thing going to be, how can Renegades close that gap a little bit get to those balls a little bit faster and find some solid clears into space. And they've got a chance to put some pressure on Turbo Pulsar here. Torsas not able to get through Yukio off the back wall. It will be pushed into the midfield. Zen again to deny, but now challenging Turbo. Can he stick with it? He'll need some help from Torsas. Unfortunately, late to the ball. Follow through Kami. No help on the midfield, and that will be slow challenge from Renegades, but they are still able to at least get some pressure going, and that's what you like to see, especially when they were under so much pressure early on in the game.
Right, and build some confidence as well, because everybody, I mean, honestly, the Twitch chat was actually pretty 50-50, but for the most part, I feel like the Dignitas name is more known, and people expect them to come out with a better chance at winning, so getting some, confidence and being able to clear it as a team definitely helps them on.
And there is definitely a lot of pressure on Dignitas to come out here and be successful, and they will do just that. Violent Panda catches a pass from the outside and finds the top right-hand corner.
And cross-pitch passing is the name of the game here. Violent Panda coming across Turbo. You see the communication and the team play that they have. It's building. We didn't see that so much in the season, but it's finally starting to come together, and you want to see team passes like that from Dignitas.
So some solid execution, and again, doing that same play off the kickoff, they went for that side boost, and they just bumped that Renegades player away from that side boost, and it really does set them off in a poor position with not a lot of resources. Backboard bounce. Turbo Pulsar won't have a chance at it. Kami will deny it. So Yukio asking for help. A demo wants to. Nobody there. It doesn't matter. Violent Panda was the first to it. So well done from Yukio to clear the way here.
Yeah, in the corner, just the pressure keeps collapsing. And the demo on the wall. Not much to do there as Renegades. The pressures just keep on coming from Dignitas, and we see the DeLorean from Turbo Pulsar. I haven't even really acknowledged the fact that he's on that car right now.
Well, he played it early on in league play, and he did do it first because he put out a Twitter poll. So it is kind of funny to see him bring that back
poll.
out here. He did. He put out a Twitter poll. It was like, what car should I play in? The people spoke and said DeLorean.
I mean, hey, it's working 3-0.
It is working right now, absolutely. And that is probably actually going to be a pretty solid closeout to game number 1 as well here for Dignitas, because 2 minutes they've held some pretty solid pressure, and Renegades definitely going to need, I think, more than just one game to figure out how they want to approach this Dignitas team.
Right, and use these 2 minutes. Obviously, you still have a minute and a half left. You're down 3 goals, but if you can build some kind of momentum, not only to go into game 2, but even possibly run away with this, you never know what, Dignitas could end up making a mistake.
Yeah, just put some good sequences together, and right now they're doing just that. And almost able to get that ball through Turbo Pulsar. Zen uncontested, or at least the challenge came late. Bounce off the backboard. He'll deny the boost from Dignitas, and maybe they'll be able to box him in, but a nice hole found by Yukio. And Kami to delay the push. And once more onto the Renegades half here as we hit the final minute of play.
The pressure finally seems like it's breaking out of the Renegades half, which is perfect for them right now. And we just see Kami trying to take it in the corner and build some kind of chemistry right now to put them on the board.
A little bit of space for Kami to work with a missed touch from Dignitas up the side, easily stopped by Yukio. Tough read to make, can't find it. Torsas off the side to Turbo Pulsar, who's in a great spot. Made a solid read, but will just deny the corner boost on the way out. And we will cruise to completion here of game number 1. For Renegades and Dignitas, and I think this is a pretty strong showing from Dignitas as well, because at the start, definitely a good case to be made for Renegades, but to see them kind of handedly give them the L here in game number 1, it does speak well to Dignitas.
Exactly, just polished rotations, completely able to keep the pressure, and Turbo Pulsar, again, showing up and proving that they're a better team with these cross plays, across the pitch, the give and go. Turbo Pulsar coming in from the far side, everybody getting involved there, and this Dignitas is starting to look a lot better in form right now.
And that's the second time we've seen that pass play as well. Again, 2 times pass from the outside to the top of the box somewhere for Dignitas. They found the man, and more importantly, the shot was uncontested, and the same thing here, but they tried to give it right back for one more go. It will be not into the net, so close. But Dignitas will have a laugh about it and take the win for game number 1 in quality fashion. So Renegades, definitely some things to work up on. The clear game, probably the biggest one.
Just rinse and repeat for Dignitas. As long as they can keep up this form and try and constantly keep the pressure on, they've seen it before. Renegades is just collapsing. They can't handle it. They got to get it clear out, can't manage to get it, and then just get these nice, simple cross-pass plays.
And you'll see a bit of them here again. Just wonderful touch out to the middle to Violent Panda and uncontested. And this was this pressure that Dignitas was really able to build up the entire series long. Yukio able to open a nice goal and really put in the ender for that game, and that was fairly early on, but it was just a ton of offense from Dignitas. Uncontested shots here from the top of the box, and those are dangerous at any time in the RLC.
And you just see Renegades trying to stay in the net more and get some kind of last-second save, but that kind of positioning really is not going to do well, especially against a team like Dignitas, who realizes, hey, you know, if they're going to stay in the net, we're just going to pass. They're so adaptable.
And that's kind of the hard thing, is how do you deal with those passes from outside of the box? It's really a lot of the pressure is on the guy in the net to read where that pass is going, what's about to happen, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, as Renegades here, you just want to look at how you can get some kind of momentum and put yourself back on the board and be more aggressive. Haven't really seen them come through in the midfield game, letting Dignitas just walk all over them, and honestly, it was a 3-0 statement.
And that does start, I think, to Dignitas and their capability on the kickoff. They really did push a lot of those Renegades players off the ball, or off the boost pad at the side on the kickoff, and I want to see if they continue to do that here in game number 2. It was really putting the resource strain early on, and that is the worst thing that can happen, is when you're getting denied a lot of resources off the kickoff. It's just so tough to get yourself into a good rhythm. And game 2 starting off almost where we left off. Zen able to find a small gap. Torsas going to be looking for some help here. Denied by Yuki off the back wall and punched into the midfield. So Renegades setting up for the first offensive sequence. Torsas might have had a chance on target there. Got a little bit too far under it. Wasn't even able to put it close to the net. And they might want that one back.
Oh, and just a demo right there, just showing aggressive so much more than the previous game. They're managing to get a little bit more control here on the pitch and push themselves out of their own half.
Nice tip from Kami, but again, well read from Violent Panda on the midfield line, and that has been a calling card for Dignitas for a long time. Very tough to get through in the midfield, as this one high above the Dignitas net. Second touch from Kami, needs help, but the only one there is Yukio. Zen playing the clear, will not be able to find the pass. Torsas in support though. Turbo to delay, and that is going to put Zen all the way back in his own half. Can't risk the challenge.
And the speed coming out from Renegades is noticeably different. They're beating Dignitas to the ball now. Seems like a 50-50 game. And now we've got a battle between who can keep pressure.
But Kami did just lose that boost. Does the second best thing, punches the man off the ball. Tries to let a teammate come in and help. Violent Panda finds a hole. Out onto the offense for Dignitas. Not going for the pass. Yukio got a deflection, and it went straight to Turbo Pulsa, and he found the top left.
Now, I'm not sure if this was calculated, honestly, but this challenge here from Yukio, unfortunate dunk there from the defensive end of Renegades, popping right out to Turbo Pulsa, and a great reaction, able to read the play and not only get a shot on net, but just be in the right position.
And so Dignitas strike first in game number 2 again. And now we'll see if Renegades, they finally get possession off the kickoff. Kami wants an air dribble. He's over everybody, but Yukio will deny it. Finally off the goal line, and Torsas in damage control mode, just trying to hang on to the ball.
Finally seeing some more mechanical skill here out of Renegades, trying to be creative on the pitch and push Dignitas to be a little bit more uncomfortable. They've just been so comfortable this whole game. Nothing has forced them outside of their zone.
That will do it. Well, it didn't put him out of their zone. It was just a beautiful shot from Torsas. Just right to himself, nobody there to challenge.
Look at this precision. At this point, you can't even save that. That is a perfect shot off the crossbar. Torsas making a statement and finally putting one on the board for Renegades.
And a great start as well. Early equalizer in game number 2. Keep yourself locked in and feeling good. So a huge goal for the Renegades to get themselves started. A demo almost opens the net, but it's off the back wall, and a wonderful clear coming out from the Renegades as Torsas tries to continue it here in the Dignitas corner and will be pushed aside. Kami with space, and that's something the Renegades have been doing as well. They're not shy to just take the ball back to their half, and they're not willing to force something if they don't have to.
Right, the control they have is just very great right now, but it won't honestly force some kind of mistake out of Dignitas that they're trying to do. We saw the shot that they just got in, but it didn't force them into a comfort zone like you were saying, or a discomfort.
Turbo Pulsa will not have any help from his teammate. The first one being there will be Torsas. Finally, Violent Panda comes through, blasts one all the way back to the Renegades half. Bounce into the middle, no help, and a long clear from the Renegades. Not on target. Yukio will make sure of that. And again, out of the corner, Renegades, that's been a lot of it too, is they get that ball stuck in the corner. It's been so difficult for them to get it out because Dignitas have been challenging quite well in that regard. They just can't find that touch out into the middle of the field or out to the top of the box somewhere. And a one-on-one now for Violent Panda. Over one. Yukio is going to wait his turn as he reads this clear from Zen. Too slow, however, and Torsas, I think he double committed with his teammate, and that mean it just slowed down that push out. And again, extra time for Dignitas to recover.
And this game is winding down to the last second, 1-1. You just want to see who can finally put in the goal that needs to be put in. This is just such a close match so far. Renegades finally showing up.
But can they get out of their own half? Violent Panda to pressure. Stopped in the corner by Torsas. Open ball in the midfield for Zen. First to it, but great play from Turbo right behind him. Yukio is going to have to let that one go, and Torsas is in a 1v1 on Violent Panda, and he slots it right behind him.
And we just see, I think that was Zen coming in with the great 1v1 skill, forcing a challenge, and then the pass from Kami to Torsas. That was everybody involved, forcing discomfort out of Dignitas, creating space for themselves, and just a great shot.
Great understanding as well, going right behind him. So easy to shoot that one to the back post, but caught Violent Panda maybe edging that way. Couldn't make it back, and Dignitas going to have to battle here in the final 60 if they want to find an equalizer.
You see Violent Panda, they're going for a demo. They're trying to use other options now because they don't have the control and the comfort that they've had before, because Renegades is finally pushing up and controlling this midfield.
Awkward play for Violent Panda, but an excellent clear off his back wall. It's on target, and just diving back is Torsas. Huge save. Yukio almost able to win cleanly through, but they still need some more help to make sure they hang on to this ball. It will not be there. Zen finds a gap, and we're off into the Dignitas half to waste some time. That Renegades is more than happy to do.
And a huge clear is all Dignitas needs just to tie this one up. They got to put one in.
Off that corner, still on the wrong side. Dignitas actually double commit. Gonna have to sort themselves out in short order. They deny the corner boost. That's a good start for something here for the final 10. I feel like Renegade's gonna be able to hang on. Pass to Violent Panda through one. Cost a lot of boost though. And first one is Torsas blasted upfield. That will likely be the end of it, barring a great play here.
Well, it's still up.
Chance, Yukio, he's got no boost. Things are going to die down. Renegades find a quality win in game number 2, and no small thank you to Torsas. He put in both.
Yeah, just honestly so much better defensive play here from Renegades, and Dignitas not on their game right now. They're not able to, we didn't see really any cross-pitch passes. They only got one lucky challenge that went right to Turbo.
And this is that first goal that Torsas put in at the start of the game. Just, you said it, unsavable.
Just a banger.
Off the bar, right to himself, off the ceiling. And again, they get this go-ahead game winner.
And Zen right there, the solo play from him was fantastic to create the space for his team.
And again, they were so close.
That could have done
40
it.
seconds. It was an awesome clear. That was that bomb of a clear from Violent Panda off the back wall, and a cheeky grin from everybody on Renegades as they walk away with a Game 2 victory. So they tie things up 1-1. And this is very reminiscent now of how WSOE felt. So how do you continue, Renegades? Because, yes, they did win. They did. I think it was a well-deserved win in game number 2, but still struggling to really create a lot of quality goal-scoring opportunities. The ones they got, Torsas with the solo play, and then they finally caught Dignitas in the 1v1, and they executed a great passing play.
I mean, I definitely think the story will end differently because we saw the smile, like you were saying, the cheeky smile, the confidence from Zen coming out. It feels like they're a little bit more of a unit here at this DreamHack, and they're ready to make a statement, honestly, about the performance and against this Dignitas team.
And that speaks to that experience that you were talking about. You know, they've after WSOE, there was a lot of questions. All right, Zen, you're the new kid on the block, and now they've been through an entire league play with each other, and they do have a much firmer understanding and a better grasp of how each other approaches the game. So maybe Renegades will continue to adapt here and come out with another win in game number 3 and put a lot of pressure on Dignitas. And a long clear up field stopped by Kami, and some early ping pong in game number 3.
I'm curious to see how Dignitas will react if they're going to keep their, I guess, passive play style. It doesn't really seem too forceful, but if they can manage to keep getting those cross pass plays that I didn't see any of the last game, but the first game, but this shot coming out from Torsos, we see the team plays from Renegades and the confidence on the field.
Renegades definitely looking for a few more passing options at the start of game number 3. Starting to get that rolling in the proper direction, but Turbo Pulse continuing to win some great challenges. He's going to need a lot of help, though. Is someone there? I think he got bumped and just kicked the ball out into space, and now it's a quick transition back the other way for Renegades. Shot towards net on target, and a nice save from Turbo Pulse.
And nobody from Dignitas was going in there. Turbo got like some weird bump in the air, but nobody was following up. It just seems like everybody's not willing to go in, but yeah, the breakaway, the place from Renegades seems like they're holding up so much better.
Oh, back the other way, and both teams having to make some diving stops off of great clears. from the opposition, as this one on target denied by Torsas.
And Kami just chose to leave it right there. Bit of a risky play, but I mean, honestly, we speak about confidence, and he's just, I'm leaving the ball. I know my teammate's gonna save.
Oh, Zen missed a bit of the boost there, but he will deny the corner on the way out. Keep the pressure up. Torsas back to him, so close to getting that pass cleanly into the middle. Unfortunately, Kami will have to wait and block the clear, so Dignitas, a couple extra seconds here to get themselves set. Find a touch into the midfield, but now it's everything feels like it's turned on its end here. Dignitas having to go for long clears, almost into the net, trying to pick a spot. Turbo Pulsar turned aside by Zen, and the Renegades, that's twice now that they've had to make a tough save.
And it's against those long clears as well. It seems like Dignitas can see the opening, but they're just getting so close to putting one in.
And that's that product, you think, of Renegades. They're trying to keep this pressure up, and finally Turbo Pulsar, he continues to win challenges on the opposite half of the field.
And look at the patience, the solo play cutting around perfectly to put one in. Exactly what Dignitas needs. If they can't get a cross-pitch pass, controlling the ball like that and making use of the space is exactly what you want to see.
And Renegades, how do you find an answer? You got a quick one in game number 2. Can they find another one here in game 3? Kami to pressure, wants that demo on Turbo. Wasn't sure if he got it. Torsas went to go deny the boost in the corner, so it slowed down the shot. Just probably wasn't expecting that bump to actually pay off, and they squander a chance. Violent Panda off the midfield line, has help coming in Yukio. Kami just able to get the nose on it. Free ball for Yukio, backboard bounce, tough read for Zen in the net. Has help, and he makes the save coming off the back wall. Second shot comes through, Torsas to deny. Again followed through, everybody comes up empty. Still kept aside by Zen. Renegades scrambling in front of the net, but they do get the job done.
Oh my, what are these saves coming out from Renegades? Literally every single player got a piece of that. That was unreal.
Pressure is still continuing to build with Turbo Pulsar finding actually 2 demos from Dignitas, diving back. Torsas can't make it, and a huge insurance goal for Yukio at a minute 40.
Look, if everybody's getting a save, all you got to do is say, you know what, I'm just going to kill them so they aren't here. Just take them out, it's all over, and then you got space to work with. After getting 3 remarkable saves, Renegades have the pressure on them 2-0.
That is the way to do it, 100%. They keep making saves, stop them from making them. Torsas, he really had to scramble back there, and he was just so ready to push up field, expecting a clear to come through. And he just couldn't turn around in time, and now the real pressure on Renegades as they're about to be on match point. Beautiful touch from Torsas. Unfortunately, clipped a little bit too high, and Zen could only delay the push out from Dignitas. Great cut from Yukio, back behind Torsas.
1v1. Wow, that was just great mechanical skill from Yukio, putting on his ones, getting it to one side, and just staying so close to the ball. The shot there was amazing.
And a lot of that comes from how you hide that dribble, your intentions, and that staying so close to the ball is, something you've probably had to deal with in your fair share of the days. And the hard part, I'll ask you, how do you approach those dribble scenarios and those one-on-one?
I mean, it's really, you just got to analyze where the car is before they go across. And Violent Panda coming in again, putting another one in. This is turning into a slaughter for Dignitas here in Game 3.
It did get out of hand fairly quickly. It was close for a bit, but again, that beautiful pass from the outside of the pitch, top of the box, uncontested shot. They find the gap, and Dignitas will roll on through into game number 4.
Every single goal as we continue on for Dignitas in this match is getting more and increasingly better of mechanical skill showcase.
But can Renegades get something going, find an answer in game 4? They did great adapting in game number 2, but still, this ball spending so much time on the sides of the pitch for Renegades whenever they're on offense, and they just don't seem to have that strong challenge game against the side like Dignitas does. They finally got a touch out to the middle of the pitch, but unfortunately Zen was expecting to have to make a challenge instead of be ready for the shot. So the final 30. And Renegades maybe get a couple of opportunities here. Chance to deny some corner boost, keep the pressure up.
And if you're Renegades, you just look to how you can recollect yourselves against this Dignitas squad, who seem to have definitely changed up how they're approaching the ball. A lot more 1v1 skill showcase and demos coming out from Turbo Pulsar. Just great responses overall, especially after that 3 line goal save. Everybody from Renegades getting
that was
involved.
Great. It was a great sequence. Unfortunately, they couldn't finally put one in back the other way. So 2 shutouts
Right.
for Dignitas now in this series, and Violent Panda very satisfied. You can understand why.
And these guys are just so calm and collected on every land. Dignitas have been to, like, you can't even count how many lands at this point. It's unreal. They're so used to being, on this environment.
Oh,
and look at this 3-man save.
They kept going. They kept circling. And
Another one.
That one you really thought was the one that was going to go in. But even Zen and Kami, it was coordinated on how they came into the net. They
And look
didn't
at the
run into
response.
each other.
The Turbo Pulsar with the response. He's like,
All
oh
right.
my gosh. You know what? I'm just gonna
Get
go
him
for
out
the
of here.
demos.
Get him out of here. They broke him down. Said, finally, someone's not going to be able to make a play. And Yukio, that was the real deal sealer. That beautiful dribble up the midfield. Cut through one and blasted back behind the guy trying to defend both sides of the net. Well executed from Mr. Yukio there.
The man filling in the shoes of K-Dop definitely has a lot of eyes on him. Probably feels really good to get a solo play like that, put his skills on showcase for everybody to watch. But Renegades are still in it. You know, it's been back and forth. We saw a bit more of a domination from Dignitas the first game. Renegades were managed, to respond. And then Dignitas come out again and just dominate.
And it was a good showing as well. And there was, I think, a lot of expectation, I feel, for Dignitas to come out here and put on a strong showing in DreamHack. You know, this is pretty much the culmination of RLCS Season 7 for them. Since they didn't make LAN, this is the last live appearance that they're going to get a chance to play in internationally. And Dignitas absolutely wants to make the most of it.
Right, and it makes it that much more important for them to show what they have going into next season.
And Renegades getting a feel for what the competition will be like in New Jersey shortly, as they are currently trying to find a way out of their own corner. And up the side wall, pass all the way across, well met from Kami. Turbo Pulsar gonna take the long route, deny that midfield boost, and again, continue to box Renegades in on their half. It's just that command, those midfield boosts, occasionally taking away a corner, just makes it so tough for Renegades to have any support when they finally break out.
That's a big thing we've seen Dignitas in the past, and their top shape do is just starve their opponents so well, just keep the rotation coming in, force the pressure on, take the boost, and then a mistake will 100% come.
Well, here's Yukio, pass down to Violent Panda, top center, and actually off the bar and right back into Yukio. You know, he gives a little grin. Turbo Pulsar says, yeah, did you mean that one? I don't know if he did, but we'll take it.
I'm curious if he boosted right here. No, he didn't have any boost, literally just landing. Like you said, we saw the smile on him. Definitely feeling good about that one. He'll take the goal from, Turbo Pulsar any day. And that was a little bit fortunate, but definitely a great setup.
Great start for Dignitas, and they'll keep the train rolling from game number 3, and the Renegades would obviously like to avoid this. Yukio puts in the second goal of the game 4.
And just look at the cross passes. I think that was Turbo in the corner trying to get a pinch across, managed to do so. And Yukio just keeps putting these ones in. We saw the individual solo play. We just saw the goal steal, and now finally getting a solid shot in.
And you got to stop the bleeding right now if you're Renegades, if you want to have a chance of coming back and winning this series. You got about 4 minutes on the clock. You just got to get out of your own half for a little bit. And they might have done just that, but unfortunately, again, it's those resources. Kami, beautiful position, had everyone beat.
Just no boost.
Just no boost.
What do you do? I mean, you can look to pick up more pads, but then your positioning is off balance as well. So you're just getting starved right now from Dignitas, and you need to get solid clear so you can collect yourself.
Oh, what a beautiful laydown from Violent Panda into the middle for Yukio, but Torsas, again, diving out of his corner, able to make a nice save. And cleared up field. Torsas the set down for Kami, and they won't quite sneak it through. Yukio able to make a nice block. And denied by Violent Panda in the midfield. Turbo Pulsar to push it up, stopped by Torsas. Kami a little shimmy shake as he tries to get through that midfield line. Actually got him a decent scoring opportunity, but again, easily deflected from Dignitas. And a quick transition, hard cleared and Violent Panda on the side wall, right towards the back wall. And that's where that speed of Dignitas is really going to come through, because if there's anything that they're great at, it's challenging the ball.
And we've seen so many hard clears. Almost every single clear from Dignitas is just so accurate and on point. And a little bit of a scramble from Renegades on the defense. Managed to get another goal line save.
Oh, nice little delay from Yukio out to the side. It put a little bit of pressure on Renegades, but they were able to suss out what the next move was, make the block, but can they break out? Time continues to tick, and it's more and more of a factor again. Torsas off the back wall, denies a shot from Dignitas. They finally sneak through, but can Zen make it back with no boost? He'll have to let it go. And they will probably be turned aside here at the goal line once again.
they're barely managing to stop these last-second shots from coming in, and they're already down 2 goals. They need to somehow break down what you said. It's the boost.
It really is. That boost game is so crucial to being successful on offense because you need that ability to support your teammates if they aren't able to make a play. And Dignitas have just done a masterful job commanding it all series long. Some wonderful clears here from Renegades. They find a couple of holes, pass into the middle, and sniffed out by Yukio. Torsas going to be waiting his turn on the rotation. He's coming in, and that will be a demo on Turbo and a kick into the corner. Sacrifice of Turbo for safety. Dignitas will take that. And again, time continues to tick. Renegades at least able to string some things together.
You gotta break this Dignitas wall and go for more demos like that. We see Kami finally getting some demos, but they don't even feel like they're on purpose. You know, you want to try and break it. Something to do with this Dignitas wall that is just so consistent and on point right now.
Turbo Pulsa doing just that. Demos one, tips it around the other, and forces Kami into the long clear, and you got to find that follow-up. And again, those strong backboard clears that have been so good from Dignitas in this particular series, definitely. Wonderful passing play out of their own half from Renegades, but unfortunately, a shot off target, clear for Dignitas. And as we get towards the final 30, you feel like there's just not enough steam for Renegades to really get something going unless they score pretty much now.
Just getting met to every single clear right now. The Renegades, they got to score right now. They got 30 seconds on the clock, have some solid pressure right now. Can they get another half?
Trying to find a hole here out of the corner. Zen actually gets it taken off, but it's okay. It's a 1-on-2 and just blasted by Kami. Might have rushed it a little bit.
Needed to take some kind of patience there, really just clearing it, especially with this last 15 seconds on the clock.
Violent Panda, free clear out of the midfield, stolen away by Kami, but actually everybody gonna come up empty there, but that'll just waste time. And Renegades, unfortunately, have a repeat result of Dignitas. They will lose 1-3, but Dignitas putting on a show, and they absolutely deserve this win here.
It was rough for Renegades. They just could not break out of their shell. But Yukio right there, honestly, probably the man of the match, coming in so clutch with so many individual plays, and just a great performance from him.
Definitely involved in a lot of those goals for them, and just quality from Dignitas. Now, that's not to disparage Renegades, of course. They did put together some great sequences, and that's the one that really got it rolling in game number 4, and Yukio the second one behind the last man. So a great game number 4 for him to close things out, but unfortunately, Renegades, they actually had some pretty good sequences on offense, so it was just generating that quality shot opportunity was the toughest part for them.
Right.
And they just snuck a couple through.
Responding to clears, too. So many clears were just boomers directly at Renegade's net.
Yeah, the long clears, very well handled by Dignitas, but that will wrap up that series of the day. And when we come back, we will have more DreamHack Pro Circuit for you guys. So stick around, and we'll see you soon.
Team Dignitas was able to find themselves a victory here over Renegades at the DreamHack Pro Circuit. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. I am Wade Dreadnought Penfold. I will be your host throughout the weekend. And I'm up here with Gibbs and Corelli. Guys, we were torn. We knew that this one was going to be a little bit more competitive. Did it come out to what we expected or what?
I expected a little more out of Renegades. I thought they would show up just a bit more. I felt like there's so much time just available for Dignitas to do whatever they wanted. And when Dignitas has time, we all know that is bad for everyone.
Yeah, as I was watching the game there, that was something I wrote down was it just felt like Dignitas was allowed to do whatever they want. Renegades didn't really put up much of a fight. The casters pointed it out quite a bit. The boost management coming out from Renegades, or maybe the boost starvation from Dignitas, really put a hole in the offense for Renegades, and they were locked in on defense quite a bit.
And I feel like it's important because we don't always get to see OCE be able to perform against others other than within their own region. Where do we feel like that leaves the benchmark going into things like Season 7 Worlds?
So I think with Renegades, they always do extremely well when they have those 3 days of scrims before the World Championship, because every team has always said all right, day 1, they don't look that great, but by day 3, they look like a World Championship team. So maybe here, a lot less scrims, not as much time to adapt, and they weren't ready for it.
Yeah, they're a team that can adapt, and we did see that a little bit in this series going into Game 2. They kind of figured it out, but then after that, the wheels fell off. So for Renegades here, it's about bouncing back after losing this Dignitas game.
Yeah, and it felt like for Dig, once kind of the gate started opening, it started flooding very, very quickly. The goals up on their half. Was there anybody that stood out for Dignitas, that you felt like was putting the rest of the squad in the back or anything here?
I saw Turbo do a lot of great solo plays, just making 2 players from Renegades miss, and then that space opens up, right, where now they have to do the long rotation back, and everyone's available for passing opportunities. But all 3 players saw the time that they had, and they all used it really, really well.
I think you're right. I think it was a good team effort here coming out from Dignitas. And that wasn't always the case here in the last league play from RLCS. So for all 3 players to be playing at their top, this is a good sign for Dignitas.
Yeah, especially when we opened today talking about how, bits and pieces were kind of falling apart for Dig as an entirety over the roster. Now finding ways maybe to glue it back together and make it a bit more cohesive here.
Yeah, but we see with these top 3 plays, we'll see a lot of time for Dignitas. Right there, that was one they probably wanted back, but the next few plays were just oh, look at all of this space. Look at all of that time, and then they set up a 2-man pass and play, or actually a 3-man pass and play there, but again, so much space in that field.
Yeah, and Renegades, again, just with no boost, weren't able to react to a lot of the plays developing from Dignitas. You can see this ball thrown down the field, and there's no one to follow it up. And Dignitas immediately takes advantage. 2 back in net for Renegades. Nobody on the challenge. That's what leads to Dignitas' success here.
The commentators highlighted the breathing room given. We see it within a couple of the replays. And I got to ask you here, Violent Panda, what did you feel that kind of room up on the field there? Did you feel like he could do whatever he wanted out there?
I think we did. We had way more passing plays than they should have given us. But in general, yeah, I think they played well and we played well, and it turned out to be in our favor.
Yeah.
So now with that huge upset with Mouse Sports over Vitality, that puts you guys in the opposite group outside of Energy and Vitality. is this going to be an easy day 3 entry for you guys?
I mean, you could say that Vitality maybe played bad, but who knows? Mouse is insane, maybe.
Yeah.
We don't know, so let's see tomorrow.
And how do you feel about going forward? I mean, obviously, there's a couple more days here. Do you guys feel like the practice that you're going to get tonight and the practice that you got today is going to help you going forward?
I think it will. I think we'll be fine in general. Yeah.
Is there any overarching game plan coming up from you guys, or any maybe team goals that you have in mind when looking at the remainder not only of maybe today, but going into each day here at DreamHack Dallas?
You mean what kind of?
Rather than you going that, there's a certain approach that maybe you would like, or mini game that you go, we feel good, even if we don't walk away with a victory, we go, but this is what we wanted to do to feel like we were improving as a roster.
I don't know. I think we could have played way better than we did in RLCS. Everyone knew that. We showed at the first DreamHack that we could play way better. But I have a feeling we are indeed a LAN team and that we play better at LAN. I feel like sitting next to the other 2 guys than playing at home. So we'll see if it helps this time as well.
Well, you know what? Before we go to a commercial break, I have one last question here, and that is going to be, do you think that you guys got what it takes to win back-to-back DreamHacks here? Do you have it in you?
Yeah, we did it last time, so why not?
Nice.
Confidence here being displayed by Violent Panda himself here. As I said, though, we are going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we got ourselves some more DreamHack Dallas.